Once you get Brad Pitt, you get a green light. Interesting thing was also the whole, all behind the scenes, how this is a passion project. So to understand what this is Eddy Cue from Apple. So there was rumors a long time ago when F1 was up for sale that Apple would buy F1 because Eddy Cue is the maddest F1 fan. He's on the board of Ferrari. So he's on the board of a Formula 1 team, Eddy Cue. People who don't know, Eddy Cue is a person who not only is in charge of Apple TV, he created Apple TV. He was a person under Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs talks about this in his biography, that he cracked television. And when he said he cracked television, it was Eddy Cue was the person whose job was to go and create Apple Television, the service, on top of Apple Television, the product. So there are two separate things there. Anyway, so Eddy Cue's the mad fit. He's one that's pushed for this. He got Brad Pitt on board. That's it. That's kind of the green light. Once you get Brad Pitt, you get a green light. Apple's got the money to make it. But they also needed F1 to be on board. F1 has this enormous push into America. They have 3 races in America now. So they have an enormous push. That's where they believe the growth of F1 is. It's a European sport. They want to push into the United States, into North America. So technically in North America, they have 5 races, 1 in Mexico, 1 in Canada, 3 in the United States. So because they're pushing for this, it's really interesting. But the making of it was fascinating because they had to film over 2 separate seasons. And there was the very first Vegas race. So the race in Vegas was... it was definitely coming. It wasn't made for the movie, but they wanted to film at the Vegas race, the very first Vegas race, which is now 2 years ago. Now, before that Vegas race, there was the actors' strike and the writers' strike, you may remember. And the interesting thing is, Fran Drescher, who was in charge of the Actors Union, the Actors Guild, lifted the strike days just before the Grand Prix in Las Vegas, because they could do certain stuff with doubles in the cars, but they couldn't do certain stuff without Brad Pitt walking down the strip middle of the night on an F1 grid. So that had to happen, and they had to lift the actors' strike. So the rumor is that Brad Pitt ran Fran Drescher and said, suspend the strike, I need to work in Vegas this weekend. We can't do this next weekend. So that was a rumor. If you go take a look at the news, Fran Drescher says, we're suspending the strike. And that was because the rumor is Brad Pitt rang Fran Drescher directly and said, Fran, you got to stop. If people who don't know, Fran Drescher was the nanny, TV show The Nanny. She's now the president of the Actors Guild. So that's the rumor. No one's ever substantiated it, but it's believable because she said they weren't dropping it. They were just suspending it, the strike. And it was suspended like a week before Vegas because Brad Pitt had to work. There was no way he was going to break the strike. He wasn't going to walk across the picket line, but he also needed to figure out a way to work and keep the Actors Guild to save face. So hence Fran Drescher suspended the strike. And the rumor is it's because of Brad Pitt and this movie F1 was the reason